Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for the nice gesture. Shareholders, ladies and gentlemen here present, and those joining us online, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 43rd Annual General Meeting of our company, Ardova Plc. Please be informed that due to the safety challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the government's directives on restriction of large gatherings, the company has obtained the approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission to hold this meeting by proxy. This meeting is being streamed live to our shareholders, regulators, and observers not present physically. I would like the company secretary to confirm that we have a quorum for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished members, I would like to call on the registrars to confirm the members' attendance.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and distinguished shareholders. For the purpose of this meeting, the 43rd Annual General Meeting of Ardova Plc, the registrar received a total of 392 valid proxy forms representing the equivalent number of shareholders who are not able to attend this meeting physically and who also amongst them hold a total of 972,717,087 ordinary shares of Ardova Plc, which represent 74.22% of the company's shareholding. Mr. Chairman, in compliance with the provisions of Section 256 of the CAMA 2022, which requires 1/3 of the total number of members of the company or 25 members, whichever is less, present in person or by proxy for the formation of quorum for a meeting of the company, I hereby confirm that the quorum has been formed for this meeting to commence. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I now declare the meeting open. I now invite the management of the Southern Sun Hotel to deliver a safety briefing.
I greet you all, our esteemed guests. My name is Tom. I'm from the Security Department. I'm here to give you safety brief. This is Oduduwa Hall. Here we have our smoke detectors here to trigger when there's an emergency. And when that happens, we always advise our guests to be calm while we go out in order. We have 2 doors that we came in through, and we have 2 emergency exits here. And anybody that goes through here, through where we came in, then to the car park. This one leads through to the staff entrance, to the road, then down to the car park, where we have our muster point, assembly point, where we take roll call in case of emergency. Then we have our fire extinguishers in the boxes outside here to put out minor fire. But when it gets out of hands, we will call Lagos State Fire Service. The police, Ikoyi police is just by our back here in case of emergency too. Our convenience is by the reception here immediately after the piano, by the right. That is our convenience. Today, we don't have fire drill. So any alarm we hear is real. We used to engage ourselves, the staff, to put in practice. We don't wait until there's fire before we start. We'll just trigger the alarm and we'll be running up and down. We'll direct ourselves to the muster point. But today, we don't have such. If we have, we always tell our guests that we have those that are even, at times, they will join us. Some of them say, no, let's join you. We want to put it in practice too. But today, we don't have any. Any question from anybody? No question. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. May I now introduce my colleagues here with me today. To my far left is Mr. Moshood Olajide, the CFO. And to my immediate left is the CEO, Mr. Olumide Adeosun. To my far right is Mrs. Aniola Durosimieti. And my immediate right is Mr. Olade Indinesuko, the Company Secretary. Mr. Olushola Adeyo and Mr. Aminu Mohammed Umar are dialed in online via Microsoft Teams. And finally, my humble self, Abdul Wasil Shuami, your chairman. May I also introduce the representatives of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Mrs. Brendan Duke, who is logged in, representative of the FRC, Adedoyin Adeyemi, FCC, Adedoyin Adeyemi, the representative of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussein Agober, and of course, representative of our auditors, Deloitte and Touch, Folon Shohonga. Veritas registrars, the representative of Shareholders Audit Committee, Mr. Job Ihejirika, Mr. Safiu Okunwola, Mrs. Adebisi Bakari, who today is also representing the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee. And of course, the representative of the management of Ardova Plc. The register of directors' holdings and the attendance of board meetings is available for inspection in compliance with Section 3018 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. To facilitate the smooth conduct of our meeting, I would like to explain briefly that you will have an opportunity to second each resolution put to the meeting. Thereafter, I must emphasize that comments will be invited on that resolution only before the vote is taken on it. I will therefore request that those who wish to speak should indicate by raising their hands. Please, when called upon to speak, state your names clearly before you make your comments. One of our ushers will hand you a microphone for your comments. And as advised by the health officials, we are enjoined to respect all COVID-19 protocols. Shareholders who wish to ask questions are encouraged to make it brief to give others the opportunity to ask their own questions. We also have our shareholders who are joined virtually. Notice of meeting. I call upon the Company Secretary to read the notice of the year 2021 AGM convening this meeting.
The Chairman, our esteemed shareholders, notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 43rd annual general meeting of Ardova Plc will hold at Southern Sun Hotel, 47 Alfred Rewani Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, on Tuesday, 27 September 2022 at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business. To lay before the members in the general meeting the audited financial statements with the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 31 December 2021, the reports of the directors, the reports of the auditors, and statutory audit committee thereon. to re-elect Mr. Abdulwasiu Showami and Mr. Olushola Adeyo to the Board of Directors as directors whose terms expire in accordance with Articles 88 and 89 of the Company's Articles of Association. To authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors for the ensuing year. To elect, re-elect the members of the Statutory Audit Committee. To disclose the remuneration of managers of the company in accordance with Section 257 of CAMA. Special business. To fix the remuneration of the directors. 7. To renew the general mandate authorizing the company to enter recurrent transactions which are of a trading nature or those necessary for its day-to-day operations with related parties or companies in accordance with the Rule 28 of the Rule Book of the Nigeria Exchange Limited 2015. Issuers rules governing transactions with related parties or interested persons on normal commercial terms consistent with the company's transfer pricing policy. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to take all steps necessary to comply with the requirements of Section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Companies Regulations 2021 as it relates to unissued shares of the company, including the cancellation of 2,689,370,733 unissued ordinary shares of the company, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute agreements, deeds, notices, or any documents, and to perform all acts and to do all such other things necessary for or incidental to giving effect to Resolution 8A above, including without limitation, appointing such professional parties, consultants, and advisors, and complying with the directives of the regulatory authorities. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following as special resolutions. A. That pursuant to Resolutions 8 above, the directors be and are hereby authorized to amend Clause 5 of the Memorandum of Association and Article 3 of the Articles of Association of the Company as necessary to reference only the issued shares in the share capital of the company. B. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute agreements, deeds, notices, or any other documents, and to perform all acts, and to do all such other things necessary for or incidental to giving effect to Resolution 9A above, including without limitation, appointing such professional parties, consultants, and advisors, and complying with the directives of the regulatory authorities. Dated 22 August 2022 by order of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman's statement is contained in pages 13 and 14 of the annual report. In view of time constraints, you may wish to consider the statement as read. Thank you very much. Presentation of accounts. Ladies and gentlemen, the first item on the agenda is to lay before the members in the general meeting the audited financial statements with the statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 31st December 2021, and the report of the directors, the report of the auditors and statutory audit committee. The original accounts and copies duly signed are available at this meeting for verification. I now call on the representative of our external auditors, Mr. Foloncha Honga, to read the reports of the external auditors for the year 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Okay, good morning, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, distinguished shareholders.
Good morning. Good morning.
The audit report will be found on page 42. Page 42 of the annual report that you have with you. independent auditors report. And before I proceed, I would like to crave your indulgence. This is a 3-page document, and I would rather seek your approval to read a few of the paragraphs. Thank you, sir. Independent auditors report. To the shareholders of Ardova Plc. Report on the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of Ardova Plc and its subsidiaries, the group and company, set out on pages 46 to 106, which comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at 31 December 2021. The consolidated and separate statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, the consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Ardova Plc as at 31 December 2021, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and statement of cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 2020, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2021. We have a key audit matter which we highlighted. The details of that will be found on page 43. So I would rather want to go to page 44, page 45 rather. And the last paragraph, report on the other reporting responsibilities. In accordance with the 5th schedule of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we expressly state that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, the group and company have kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from our examination of those books. And 3, the consolidated and separate statements of financial position and profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of account. Signed 6th of July 2022 on behalf of Deloitte & Touche, Folorunso Hunga. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Folorunso Hunga. I now call upon the representative of the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mrs. Adebisi Bakari, to read the report of the Audit Committee. Mrs. Bakari, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Audit Committee report can be found on page 39 of the annual reports and accounts. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Abdulwasiu Showami, other members of the board, the company secretary, regulators here present, eminent shareholders present, those shareholders joining online, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning all. On behalf of the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, I read report of Statutory Audit Committee to the members of Ardova Plc. In accordance with the provision of section 404, subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 2020, we confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with the legal requirements and agreed ethical practice. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st December 2021 were adequate, and we, members of the Statutory Audit Committee, have reviewed the external auditor's findings on management matters and has satisfied with the departmental response thereon, dated 6 July 2022, signed by our able chairman, Mr. Olushola Adeyo, Chairman, Statutory Audit Committee. Other members of the Statutory Audit Committee are 1.
Mr. Mohamed Haminu Omar, Non-Executive Director, Mr. Safiu Okunola, Shareholders Representative, my humble self, Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare, Shareholders Representative, and lastly, Mr. Job Onwara, Shareholders Representative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bakare. Thank you. The executive team will be pleased to answer any question which you may have on the audited statement of the financial position, together with the statement of the comprehensive income for the year ended 31st December 2021, and the report of the auditors thereon now before the meeting. If you have any questions, it will help if you could refer to the page in the annual report and to which the question relates. I will suggest that members should be brief in their comment and restrict questions to one to afford others the opportunity to have a say. Yes. Sir Sonny also, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. My question is not lengthy. It's just that I want you to look at page 9, notice of meeting. Page 9. Under notice of meeting, there's usually something that shareholders want to see there. Dividend, approval of dividend. Since dividend is not announced here, it means that there must be a good reason why Ardova is not paying dividend, because all through the 43 years of Ardova, through AP and whatever transformation, they've actually been paying dividend. If we are not paying dividend, and because of those who are not here, secondly, I can understand that there was a lot of investment made. And for me, my understanding of 50 years in the capital market says that it takes about 3 to 5 years for any new investment to start generating profit. So it will be better for the chairman to use this opportunity and explain to shareholders what really happened. We're not castigating you, but just an opportunity for us to actually know. Because most of us are bread eaters. We may not know how the bread is being baked. So it is better that you use this opportunity to explain to shareholders and those who are hooked online. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's just my brief.
Thank you very much, Sir Amosu. First of all, I need for us to praise God for Sir Amosu's life that is in our midst today. We thank God for his life, and we pray that God will continue to strengthen and heal him. Thank you very much. I think the issue on dividend is very germane. I would like that to take this address. Just like you have alluded to, this company is renowned for paying dividends. And I recall 2020, 19 kobo was paid for every share held. And but for the COVID pandemic that ravaged the whole world 2021, we would have also had to pay. But like you also alluded to, we are in an investment mode. And investments just don't bear fruit immediately. I also agree with you that we need to reassure shareholders. What I can tell you for free is that your company is undergoing a lot of investment. Your company definitely will have better working business environment when all these assets, have started to bear fruit. And again, I must also say that your company will definitely have capital appreciation once these investment come to fruition. This company definitely will be making dividend payment in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My own name is Erika Kinduro. the chairman of Ibadan Zone Shareholders Association. Mr. Chairman, I stand to observe the existing protocol. And looking at this, our annual report this morning, I saw it there that the future is green. This now takes me to go and check the meaning of green. Why that particular color green? I now understand that green represents balance, nature, spring, and rebirth. It is a symbol of prosperity, freshness, and progress. So, me are looking at the meaning of this green that you have assured us that we are going to have it as our future. I'm very, very comfortable with this company. That though we are passing through a lot of expansion now, but that the future is green. And that now make me to take just one meaning from that full meaning of green, that is balance. As we are progressing, as we are making provision for the future, we should always remember that it takes energy and stability to get to that future. And one of the things that can make us to get to that future with stable mind is when we have our regular dividend. But thank God that you have explained the reason why we are not having dividend this year. And we know that you are keeping the money for us to have a better and robust dividend in the nearest future. So please, Mr. Chairman, we will appreciate it if you keep this balance as you are expanding in the process of making our company to be green. And also on page 20, I saw it there that we are building 20,000 metric tons of LPG storage. And looking at the research in our African context, I realized that this is going to be the largest in Africa. It's going to be the largest in Africa, and it's a very laudable project. Particularly in our country, Nigeria. This country is suffering in the midst of plenty. And thank God for companies like Ardova that identify this area and to tackle particularly the cooking gas of the downstream people in the country. So we will appreciate it if you can give us update on these 20,000 metric tons, how far we have gone, and what I will be expecting in the nearest future. And also, Mr. Chairman, on page 83, I can see that we are doing very well when it comes to our fuel, and we are doing very well when it comes to our lubricants and greases, where we achieve about 26 billion, and on fuel, we achieve about 175 billion. But on solar system, we just achieved about 8.9 billion from 14 billion last year. And when you look at where we are going, the world is not static. We are moving from this energy to solar. And most of the solar gadgets we are using in this country, they are from, you know where they are from, but the durability is not there. And it's not cheap. So if Ardova can channel more strength on solar, at least for the populace, I think it's going to help us because you understand the environment. You understand what we have. So whatever you are going to produce to us will be a valuable thing that Nigerian will enjoy because it's made in Nigeria and for Nigerians. So we will appreciate it if we can put more effort on our solar system generation so that we can have a better returns on that. And finally, Mr. Chairman, looking at our H1 quarterly result for 2022, I can realize that our revenue is up by 1.4%. That's about 51 billion. And our profit before tax, 37%. That's about 1.60 billion. And our EPS, we recorded negative of 88 kobo as against 0.38 kobo last year. Please, we want you to do more on this because with negative dividend, there's no way we can be talking of returns for the investment. So please, Mr. Chairman, we appreciate it if all this can be looked into so that we can have a better result come next year. And finally, I need to thank the chairman, the MD, and the secretariat for reaching out to shareholders to get this report on time. Working together with Veritas is a good thing, so that when we have this report on time, we can always read and pass necessary information, even outside AGM, so that for the betterment of our company. Once again, I say thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The members of the board, the regulator authority present, and my co-shareholder, those people watching online, good morning. My name is Mrs. E.O. Obide, National Coordinator of Arc of God Shareholder Association Incorporated. Sir, when I look at my annual report, as the first speaker say, no dividend. And I look at page 32, and I found out what is happening, why we did not collect dividend. We have only one female on the board. You know where, that's the reason. You know, wherever the female are like 2, 3, as the Kama say, there's nothing we do that we don't have that number 6. I'm not saying if female does not have, but when you have us, you know things is always easy. God knows better. That's why he created female. Clap for us now. So, sir, consider female 2 or 3, at least 33%, as the Kama say. The woman, Mrs. Barriety, we know the family house in Lagos, Eti. We know them. They are the people one can speak about the family in Lagos Island. And I know next year, if we had 2, 3 to Madam, yes, before you say it, we'll enjoy dividend. Bawa.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Page 43, sir. Page 43. I want us to look at that page 43 and take the advice of the external auditor. It's very important. It's very important. I observed something in Ikorodu garage. We have our petrol station there, but now we don't have BRT and other stuff. We can, I don't think it's very easy to just leave. What is our plan to get our petrol station in Ikorodu so that that name will still remain? They've taken the one in the garage. What are the things we are putting in place to get another one in Ikorodu? Because Ikorodu is a great place that people respect in Lagos State. Is one of the respective place. So please, sir, put it in mind. Put it in mind so that we can replace it. I use this opportunity. You said we should limit our question to 1 or 2, and I
you
think
already have 2.
Bawa.
Thank you very much, madam.
So I use this opportunity to thank the management for giving me the opportunity to be one of the pros here today. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Okay. Mr. Patrick.
The chairman of the board, members, the directors here present and those online, the regulator here present, my fellow shareholder, the registrar, the staff of Ardova, ladies and gentlemen, I say good morning to all.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Patrick Ajudo. Mr. Chairman, I really want to commend the board and management of this company that despite the difficult environment we have find ourselves, we have a lot of hope where Ardova Plc is. It is not a thing of surprise to me, because I know very much sure that the chairman is conscious of the fact that the company have to make a lot of progress, and that we are doing. I want to commend you, the MD, and also to commend our company secretary, who has been interfacing with the shareholders and answering questions where necessary. Mr. Chairman, on page 5, I would like to commend the fact that the company posted a 1.54 billion in the year ended 31st December 2021. I say the company, not the group. However, the loss found in the subsidiaries of Houses and Cartage, which you have on page 22, and also page 21, and the newly acquired NU Retail and Supply led to the group loss of about 3.8 billion. But there is a significant improvement as yield from this investment in 2021 contributes to the growth in revenue in your new quarter release by closing up at 1.6 billion. On page 15 and 20, they have talked about the 20,000 metric ton. But my question is, yes, the construction is going. How realistic is the delivery date? And what is the current status of it right now? Mr. Chairman, on page 5, you indicate that you have received the delivery of a lubricant under the sole distributive partnership with Shell, with various brands of lubricant in the market. How do we hope to sustain, ensure market penetration, and of course, the profitability of this business? Knowing fully well that we have Visco and so on, so we look at the possibility of sustaining the dividend. On page 25, Mr. Chairman, I really want to commend you for the bid you won with respect to Odwa Marginal Field. Mr. Chairman, my question there is, when are you going to commence production and the expected return on our investments? Mr. Chairman, the same page on 25, I would like to commend you on the investment in clean energy. I strongly believe it will support our vision of providing energy in the development of our country. Mr. Chairman, on page 21, I want to commend the conclusion of the acquisition of NU Retail and Supply Limited in the deal that makes it the retail network of the largest in Nigeria. With the completion of the deal, it will further drive efficiency and profitability. And as at present, Mr. Chairman, Ardova has over 700, Ardova has over 700 retail outlets and 3 numbers of storage facility in Nigeria. They are the largest, and I'm very much sure, let us give them a round of applause. Mr. Chairman, the analysis of the account is on page 46, 47, 47, and 48. You close on the negative of 3.8. I want to commend your resilience once again. In the midst of insecurity, unstable forests, double taxation, price regulation, and unwholesome practices in the industry, you are able to still ride on. And you have given us assurance that the future is very bright. Looking at it, Mr. Chairman, I only hope that we look at those areas that will help us. And that will take me to page 83 to look at the revenue segmentation. We need to do more in terms of our cost of sales, which is getting over 95% of our revenue. And I don't blame anybody in the oil industry. For me, I've been an apostle of full deregulation of the industry. And that is the only way we can move forward. The price should be a market-driven price. And when you look at that page, it only contributes about 6%, whereas lubricants contributes over 52%, rising from 16.9 billion to 25 billion. The same thing we're having in the aviation fuel, where the sales volume has increased. So what are we going to do to consolidate on both lubricant and aviation fuel? Because the regulation have removed the regulation from it. So we do hope that more should be done. Mr. Chairman, I will be rounding up on the note of appeal to the federal government when it comes to oil theft. Oil theft has become a worrisome trend in Nigeria, and a situation whereby we are losing over 80% of our oil revenue to theft. Who are those who are stealing it? Who are those who are processing it? And who are those who are delivering it? I believe government knows them. And I believe that the more powerful force and the more powerful and forceful government is in confronting this problem, the better the outcome of which will be very good at improving our fiscal situation and longer-term sustainability of the structure. That is why you see government looking at unclaimed dividend, because they are looking for where to get money. And when you look at it, you find out that on page 103, the figure of the unclaimed is rising. It's rising. So effort must be made for us to bring down this money so that the eye of government will not be there.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Chairman, as I told you, Mr. Chairman, you can't call me a pastor because you see a red cap.
Okay, so Chief.
Yeah, call me Chief. So I want to thank you very much and to appreciate you and to ask our fellow shareholder to have hope and high expectation that this gentleman will take us to a wonderful land. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All protocol duly observed. My name is Pastor Lagoke Samson Olusegun. First and foremost, there's a Yoruba Abbey says, Yini yini, geni shemi. I commend our amiable chairman of our board and the CFO for a wonderful and excellent job. Because by this time of crisis, our company and the board achieved so many aims. 20,000 LGP, LPG, Ado Green, Aeon, As Cottage Limited. All these subsidiaries are being owned by Ardova. A round of applause for the board and management. When I go through all this one, I confirm that we have hardworking, competent, quality board and management that will take our company into a greater level. Please, a round of applause again, including all the staffs. I believe that with all this investment, next year we are expecting big dividend that all the shareholders will be in good mode.
Inshallah.
And I want to urge the board and management to carry all the shareholder along for inspection of that LPG to make sure we deliver the message to the other shareholders that will not be able to went for the inspection. Page 11. I commend the Office of Company Secretariat in presence of Mr. Olaide Nasiko for his wonderful and excellent job. Very intelligent and fit the post. Very accommodative and friendly to all the shareholders, including all the staff in the department, especially Mrs. Abolale and others. Kudos. I also commend the board of management because the life of the shareholder and other people are very, very important in their mind. At least when I get into the premises, before I enter the meeting hall, they arrange for medical checkup. That means our life, our health is very important. A round of applause for the board. Lastly, I also commend our audit committee member. They have performed excellently. And they represent all the shareholders excellently. And they are capable and competent. Keep it up. I rest of my. I thank you, the chairman, for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you very much. We will have two more questions. Can I call on Chief Boniface? Chief Boniface, we will indulge you to be brief.
The chairman of Ardova Plc, directors of a great company, fellow distinguished shareholder. Good morning. My name is Okezia Boniface. Mr. Chairman, if one have done well, I don't need to hear to bother you with your questions and the comment because people say, how did they do well? No dividend. But that's not the ultimate. The ultimate that, the company is still a growing concern. Yes. And they have made a lot of investments that guarantee future sustainability. That's the most important thing, key. If we made all the whole profit, but I know dividend will come in no distant time. I can't say next year because that's the discretion of the board, and I'm not a board. So the board knows the right thing to do at the appropriate time. I will appeal to shareholders, invest in the company if you have not bought the shares. Because when the time comes when you cannot able to grab it, you say, had I known, and that is medicine after death. This is the time to begin to take position and buy it so that they allow the money back to hijack the shares when it's going up. The investments we have made today. You see, Mr. Chairman, let me just say once again, congratulations for the bond. That shows that the market has confidence in this company. Yeah. The way they subscribe that bond, and enable it for investment. It didn't come back to retail shareholders to come and give money for right issue or public offer. Who wouldn't have come handy? But that bond shows confidence the market repose in you. I know that if you go to our earning on page 5, we did a lot of business that come in money. But shareholders should not forget. Agreement we hold for that bond is from the profit. If the earning were to redeem when they are due, so that people will have more to come again when they will need to come to the market. I believe today that in investment were made in Asia that made all the largest retail downstream in Nigeria today, we should be able to take over West African market. So when we're talking about dividend, I don't want 1 naira, 2 naira. So if it comes 5 naira upward, and it's capable, it's doable. We're going to do it. Mr. Chairman, on page 3 and 4, I'm taking page 3, there's a picture there. AP Ardova Plc. petrol, diesel, kerosene. But unfortunately, I want to commend this company. In terms of scarcity of diesel, this only outlet filling stations, you can go and get diesel at the right price. That's the Ardova for you. Those who go to Awolowo Road at that time, people are running helter-skelter looking for diesel. It's available there. People, I want to commend. But kerosene is not really available. It's not you here. In all the marketers, I don't see anyone that can see kerosene, which is a common user for common man. And that's what we're talking about today, LPG. They say charity begins at home. Mr. Chairman, I'm taking you on page 29 and 30. That's center page there. Page 29 and 30. When will this LPG? So since that kerosene is no longer available for the common man, but we believe with the clean gas, page 29, we should be able to have gas. We should be able to have gas. Most especially the transparent glass of cyber. Mr. Chairman, if I know that my gas is finishing and I looked at it, I can see transparently, I can now make call to refill. That's what Ardova is doing. Because those old ones, those days, you don't know when it finishes. As your light, the guy can't come up. My gas is finished. You're already boiling yam or rice on the, or beans, So it becomes a problem. So that's what innovation is all about. Clean energy. That's what a good company is doing. And I'm appealing to the MD today. I'm interested. Charity begins at home. We should be able to market, not the advertisers alone. We can form advertisers by using this product. We can be able to talk to our friends, associates. Go and use, I'm using it. They will ask you, are you using it? Then if I'm using it, I'll be bold enough to convince somebody to go and use it. Mr. Chairman, I have a space in my place to use that cylinder. I need it. And a more affordable price. So that's how we can also contribute. Not the minor dividend. We should be able to also contribute. If you're invested here and you own a car or generator, also access a filling station to buy your product. Vis-a-vis, you are contributing. So that if the dividend not come, you now hold them. Look, I am buying here. I am patronizing. Why are you not giving me dividend? Because I am also contributing for the growth of the company. Mr. Chairman, that is only I'm holding you today. But after this meeting, those who are interested should put down their names. And whoever's in charge should connect us immediately for us to make use of this, our product, and able to market it worldwide. And I'm believing strongly that this annual report, registrars, veritas are excellent, and the company secretary. Mr. Chairman, you are listening, Chairman, and listening board. Mr. Chairman, are you listening? When this guy was, Olade Ndeko was acting, I told you, the acting does not spare confidence. And he told me it's going to be confirmed. And that people are talking, when Pastor Ndeko were talking, I was just smiling. He knows this by their names. But unfortunately for me, I don't know the department working by their names, But this guy is excellent to recollecting to us. And also the chairman, once in a while we'll call maybe Ilea will send text, chairman respond. Because it's not everyday meetings that you only see once in a year. No. So by name you send them message, greet them. Christmas they should also greet us by sending messages. That's how it should be.
You should send ram to the chairman.
Okay, I will do that. And chairman will send cow to me in Christmas. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I pray for this company because what we are doing today, competing with a regulator, I don't know who is regulating because the name is limited liability. I don't know whether I see saddle in regulating. That's the problem we're having in this country. Challenge. Until that issue been addressed, we can move forward. The same thing happened in SEC. Regulators are the worst enemies we have in this capital market. By the time government will regulate them properly, things will sit up and dividend will come. God bless Ardova and God bless shareholders.
Thank you very much. I think we have more than enough questions to answer now. I would like to invite the management, starting with the CEO, to address the questions that have been asked. Mr. Adeosun, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shareholders, thank you for the questions posed. Yeah, thank you for the questions posed. I think a good place to start would be to provide that much required update on the 20,000 metric ton LPG facility that we are building in Ijora. The location in Ijora is quite special because geographically it is the most advantageous location for evacuation of products. So that we chose that location was not by accident. The fact that it is the largest consolidated LPG facility in West Africa is also true for the moment. And what that means is that we'll be able to bring very commercial quantities of LPG into the country. We will account for about 25% of the storage capacity in country. Now that can only portend well for a future that sees us moving towards full adoption of LPG as the preferred cooking fuel for all the benefit that it delivers over something like, say, biofuels, firewood, or something like, say, kerosene, which is slowly declining as a cooking fuel, the cost of kerosene being one of the biggest drivers. So where we are today is that the procurement, i.e. the funds that were raised as part of that bond raise, the procurement process is complete, and all long lead items, all major items that need to be procured have been paid for. We have 4 or 5 of the main batches delivered to site. All 5 batches have been delivered to site. All 5 batches are now in situ, so we have no equipment that we're waiting for anymore. It's really assembly. The team from the Far East, who will be coming in to support, arrive in country on the 15th, and that work is the work program to deliver is tracking very well. So yes, there might be some slight delay to what we thought at the time of the bond raise, but all the material and all the sources of handweed are gone. In terms of completion today, we are just above 39% in terms of completion, and all of the relevant contractors, all of the relevant approvals, all of the EIA, everything that you absolutely need to deliver the project are already in situ. So that takes care of the 20,000 LPG plant. And we've heard the commitment that we'll make here is that we'll make updates via our website, via our social media outlets, to make sure that our shareholders, and maybe one of communications as well, to ensure that our shareholders are fully briefed in terms of the progress we're making with this very important national infrastructure. In terms of the observations that were made around solar, we completely agree with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Eric, for the description of the color green. I think you gave it a lot more profound thought than we actually did. Ari, is that right? I don't think you went there, but thank you so much for giving us all those meanings. For us, it's really where we see, when you talk about balance, it's really where we see the balance. And the first step for us, it's not just the solar story, it's a clean energy story. So the first step for us is really around building that 20,000 ton LPG facility that's going to transform the sources of revenue, which is really tilted towards fuels right now. But on solar, on page 22 of the annual report, you will see that we introduced a company called AP Renewables, and we provide some headlines on the areas of focus for AP Renewables. I think you will agree with me that they are completely different from the businesses that we're looking at today, and there are areas that we see as growth, that will offer growth and margin opportunity. So those are the 4 or 5 areas that we're looking at: power as a service, battery as a service, waste to energy, EV. Those are the areas that we're looking at, and we believe that there is a lot of value for the company in those areas. Mrs. Obebe, the chairman, will take your question on the board, but thank you very much for the question you raised around the Ikorodu garage. What had happened there was that we had to give up that station in the interest of civic requirement. It sits on the corner of a very important intersection in Ikorodu, downtown Ikorodu. Lagos State approached us because it was straddling their bus depot. they approached us and asked us to enter discussions or negotiations, one-sided negotiations, obviously, with them, such that we would give up that asset in exchange for some compensation and some other considerations. So we had no choice, really. When government invites you to give us something in the interest of public access, you have no choice, or in the interest of right of way. So it's very unfortunate. It's a station that has been in Ikorodu for a significant amount of time. We had a good dealer that was running the place. But what we have is that whilst we're looking for new locations in Ikorodu, we have a station, an NU station in Owode Oniri, that really, if you are an AP buyer before, we would implore you to move your business to the Owode Oniri station whilst we take steps to make sure that Ikorodu is better represented by an AP station. In terms of, I think I've addressed the question on delivery versus reality. I think what we're publicly saying is that the 20,000 LPG facility will be ready sometime in 2023. And really, like I said, all the pieces and the pace is really in our hands right now, so it's about how fast we're prepared to go. There was a question on Shell lubricants and the addition it's making to our revenue. This is very early days. We signed that agreement, the exclusive supply agreement last year. And where we are today is that the marketing has really started to take full flight. We expected that it would take about 18 months to give people the comfort that the lubricants are not just one-off, but they're in country and they're here to stay. People start to convert when they believe that if you run out, they can get more access to it. So we're starting to really acclimatize the market. Why Shell? Shell is the #1 lubricant provider in the world. They are moving, they have large operations here. They have one of the largest global accounts that are also in Nigeria. So for us, it's really about moving with the #1 lubricants business in the world that's really taking a completely different look at how you provide maintenance solutions to industrial and commercial customers. There was a question around 4748. I think our investment in clean energy is very well spelled out there. Now, in terms of looking at where our revenue will be coming from in the future, we have gone on record to say that we will move the needle from the 90+% that comes from fuels today, PMS largely, to really moving to a 20-25% in the next couple of years in terms of revenue. Lubricant is a highly profitable product for us. So to the point that was raised earlier, we're looking to improve, we're taking active steps today. One, to upgrade the lube oil blending plant, but to also make sure that we are able to produce the 2.5-3 million liters per month of AP Visco to the Super V 2000 that we actually need to achieve what our customers are asking for. So we believe that by the time we're done with the upgrade, the much needed upgrade to the lube oil blending plant in Ijora, we'll be able to exceed those numbers without too much effort. And then Pastor Olusegun, thank you very much for the kind words. We do take medicals very seriously. It's an important part of what we do as a business. And so at any point in time, wherever you see us gather, there is always an occupational health professional in the room. And today we have Nurse Ngozi, who's here in the room with us and helps us to drive some of those things. Chief Boniface, you mentioned, I hope I've addressed your question on kerosene. It's an industry issue. It's starting to compete with the price of aviation fuel. So it's not really something that people are looking at. But on the composite cylinders, we hear you. That's the general direction of travel. It's nice to be able to see where your gas is as you are using it. There's some other innovations that we're also looking to roll out that would allow people to buy gas in small quantities that we hope to be able to inform our esteemed shareholders of in the short future. And we have also noted your volunteer as an influencer for the brand. We will take it on, Mr. Boniface. Thank you very much. Thank you. I will hand over to our CFO, Mr. Moshood Olajide, to talk through some of the finance-related questions that were raised. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, our distinguished shareholders and other stakeholders. There are just a couple of questions that I have to take. The first is from Mr. Akindo, and it was about the performance in 2021 and the early numbers for 2022. Just to provide some context, we're currently making significant investments around our storage facility, even for all the other products. So it's not just that we're building a 20,000 metric ton LPG storage infrastructure. We're also building a 52 million liter storage infrastructure for PMS. We're building a 24 million liter AGO storage infrastructure for AGO. So what this means is that for the time being, we cannot use our terminal because there's a lot of hot work going on in our terminal because we're building tanks and all of that. So our margins are depressed because we have to use another storage facility. So we're paying throughputs that we wouldn't ordinarily pay just because we can't have access to our terminal until the project is completed. So this is a primary driver of the depression in margins that you're seeing. The second driver of depression in margins that you're seeing is that we've gone to the market, we've raised a lot of money, and we are still at the construction phase for the money that we have raised. So we've not started generating money from the investments that we used the money for. So we're paying finance costs. So part of the cost of construction is coming through, and you're seeing all of that in our margin. Like the chairman said, these investments, when they come on stream, will put us in a position to significantly improve value for shareholders and significantly increase our bottom line so that we're in a position to then talk about dividends. We pray for the kind of size you're talking about, but at least there will be dividends by God's grace. There was a question by Mrs. Obideye about the acquisition of NU being a key audit matter. Just to provide some context, the acquisition of NU was completed late October 2021, October 15, 2021. So what that meant is that as at the time we completed the acquisition of NU, the pre-audit work had been completed for the year. So the auditors had to spend a lot of time on consolidating the NU numbers into our number. And because it was an acquisition, there was a purchase price allocation that needed to be done. They needed to get comfort around the NU numbers that were being incorporated into the Ardova numbers because the NU revenues represented more than 25%, about 30% of Ardova's revenue. So it was a key audit matter, and you would see from everything they've said, it wasn't as if they found anything wrong. What happened was they paid more attention. So the key audit matter is we paid more attention to this matter, not that this matter is bad or not. There was a question around Olua Field. The revenues from Olua Field is not expected within a year. As you would imagine, it's an oil and gas asset. Exploration and production works needs to take place, and these things take time. But in the short to long term, we expect that returns will come from the field. Currently, the investment in Olua Field, as captured in our annual returns, are going into at least starting production, right? And that will take some time. Revenue segregation, I think the CEO has spoken about it. We've gone on record to say that cleaner fuels, LPG, and renewable energy sources will constitute about 25% of our revenue in the short term. What that means for us is that we are putting a lot of investment in that field to ensure that, one, we grow our global revenues, but more importantly, that we also grow the revenues that we're getting from LPG and those other sources in comparison to the revenue that we're getting from PMS, AGO. Today, PMS and AGO constitute about 90% of our revenues. What we want to do is, while growing PMS and AGO revenue, grow LPG revenues to the point that in the global revenues, LPG constitute about 25% of that. And we are on track to achieve that. The storage facility will provide 25% of the local consumption. The total consumption for the country, 25% of it will be in our facility. So if we can store 25% of what is consumed in Nigeria, we definitely should be able to get 25% of the revenue from the consumption of LPG in Nigeria. And we're not just staying at the storage side of it, we are also investing in the retail side of it. So you see a lot of our stations come up with LPG skids that would allow us to retail LPG the same way we are retailing PMS, AGO, and all of that. I think that is all the questions that I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mashood Olajide. There have been no further comments. and the audited statement of the financial position and a statement of comprehensive income for the year ended 2021 haven't been presented and members haven't made comments and notations, may I call on a member to move a motion that the audited accounts for the year item 2. Okay. Okay. Okay, may we now proceed to vote on the various resolutions for the meeting?
Resolution, because it's too late not to receive.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam, also for the guidance. So we'll now go to that's the re-election of directors. Yes. Now, for the purpose of this resolution, I hereby recuse myself and request that Mr. Olumide Adeosun, the CEO, coordinate this segment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. May I now call upon the company secretary to read out the name of the directors subject to re-election.
The directors subject to re-election are Mr. Abdulwasiu Shoami and Mr. Olushola Adeyo. In accordance with Article 88 and 89 of the Articles of Association of the company, Mr. Abdulwasiu Shoami and Mr. Olushola Adeyo will retire by rotation from the Board of Directors at this annual general meeting and, being eligible, offer themselves up for re-election.
I now propose that Mr. Abdulwasiu Shoami, a director retiring and being eligible, offering himself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Will a shareholder please move this motion?
I so move. Mrs.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mrs. CEO. I declare. Oh, seconder. Will a shareholder please second the resolution, please?
I second the motion, Comrade Lawrence.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lawrence Oguntoye. I declare the resolution. Oh, may I now invite the registrars to take us through the voting exercise on the resolution, please?
Thank you so much. Distinguished shareholders, you already have the voting parts for the election, so I'd like to let you know, yes, that the voting parts, you have buttons 1 and 2. You are restricted to buttons 1 and 2. So if you're voting a yes, you click on button 1, and if it's a no, button number 2. You have 30 seconds to cast your vote. So on the resolution to re-elect the chairman, I hereby call on the shareholders to cast the vote. Yes, voting.
Okay. Number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Registrar. I declare the resolution carried.
Thank you very much. I now propose that Mr. Olushola Adeyo, a director retiring and being eligible, offering himself for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director. Will a shareholder move a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I so do. My name is Esther Funke Augustine.
Thank you, Mrs. Esther. Who seconds the motion? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is David Adenike Okoyemi. I so second.
Thank you, Mrs. Adenike. May I now invite the registrars to take us through the voting exercise on the resolution.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to re-elect Mr. Olushola Adeoye, shareholders may now cast their votes. Yes, please.
Number what?
We have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Thank you very much, Registrar. I hereby declare the resolution carried. Thank you. Remuneration of auditors. The next business on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix a remuneration of the external auditors in accordance with Section 408 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. I propose that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the external auditors for the year ending 31st December 2022. Will a shareholder please second the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I write to second that motion, Okizia Boniface.
Thank you, Mr. Boniface. May I now invite the registrars to take us through the voting exercise?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors, distinguished shareholders, you may now cast your votes. Mr. Chairman, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I hereby declare the resolution carried. We move to the election of members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Pursuant to Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, an audit committee is hereby required to be established by every company. Under subsection 3, the committee shall consist of 5 members comprising of 3 shareholders' representatives and 2 non-executive directors, and shall examine the auditor's reports and make recommendations to the AGM under subsection 6. Any member may nominate a shareholder as a member of the audit committee, and by giving notice of such nomination to the secretary of the company at least 21 days before the AGM. The committee is not entitled to remuneration and shall be subject to re-election annually. For the period ended 31st December 2021, the following persons served as shareholders' representative: Mr. Job Ihejurika Onwagara, Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare, and Mr. Safiu Okunla, while Mr. Olushola Adeoye and Mr. Mohammed Amin Umar represented the board on the audit committee. I now call on the company secretary to read the nominations for the shareholders which have been received.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We received a total of 61 nominations. The validity of the nominations were determined through the inclusion or otherwise of the names of the nominees and nominators on the shareholders register. In total, we had 53 valid nominations. We received 49 withdrawals. So, 4.
Okay. Thank you very much. The nominees of the election into the Statutory Audit Committees are 4 in number now. They are Mr. Job Ihejurika, Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare, Mr. Safiu Okunla, and Alhaji Mohammed Atonda. I now invite the register to take us through the election process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Show of hands. Yes,
Good.
show of hands, yes.
Okay.
So,
Show of hands.
yes, thank you. So for, yeah. Okay, thank you. For those in favor of Mr. Job Ihejirika Ungarami, please raise your hands. Okay. Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, we have... No. Okay, the numbers. I wanted to give the numbers. 10. Okay, okay, so, all right, thank you. All right, thank you. Those in favor of Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare.
I hope you are seeing my hand. No, my phone is not my hand.
Okay, so those in favor of Mr. Safiu Okunla, kindly raise your hands. All right, thank you very much. So, yes, those in favor of Alhaji Mohammed Atonda, kindly raise your hands.
I don't want to waste my vote.
All right. Okay, so, sir, Mr. Chairman, the result of the audit committee election. Yes, Mr. Joe Ihejirika Ungara, 10 persons. Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare, 10 persons voted in favor. Mr. Safiu Okunla, 10 persons. No. Alhaji Muhammad Atonda, nil votes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Registrar. Thank you. Further to the election results. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Okay. Further to the election result, I hereby declare that Mr. Job Ihejirika Ongara, Mrs. Adebisi Oluwayemisi Bakare, and Mr. Safiu Okunla are hereby duly elected as members of the Statutory Audit Committee for the year ended December 31st, 2022. The following directors will serve on the Statutory Audit Committee for the year ended December 31st, 2022. Mr. Olushola Adeyo and Mr. Mohammed Amin Omar. Remuneration of managers. The next item on the agenda is to disclose the remuneration of the managers of the company. Section 257 of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 stipulates that the compensation of managers of a company shall be disclosed to members of the company at the AGM. This information has been provided on page 105 of the annual reports, which was previously circulated to all shareholders here present. I hereby propose that we take the disclosure as read and accepted. Yes. Will a shareholder please second this? Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Special business. For this,
for one resolution. It's all joint.
Cease first.
Yes. So, for the purpose of resolution, I hereby recuse myself and request Mr. Olumide Adeosun, the CEO, to coordinate this segment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Remuneration of directors. The next item on the agenda is to declare and fix the remuneration of the directors. Section 293(1) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 stipulates that the remuneration of the directors shall be determined by the company in a general meeting. I now propose that the fees payable to the non-executive directors be set at the sum of 1 million naira and the sum of 1,500,000 naira for the chairman per annum. Will a shareholder please move the motion? Okay. Will a shareholder please second the motion? May I now invite the registrars to take us through the voting exercise.
Mr. Chairman, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Thank you. I declare the resolution carried. The next item on the agenda is to renew the general mandate authorizing the company to enter recurrent transactions which are of a trading nature or those necessary for its day-to-day operations with related parties or companies in accordance with Rule 20.8 of the Rule Book of the Nigerian Exchange Limited 2015. Issuers' rules governing the transactions with related parties or interested persons on normal commercial terms consistent with the company's transfer pricing policy. I now propose that the general mandate be reviewed. Will a shareholder please move the motion?
I so do.
Please carry on.
My name is Esther Funke Augustine.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Will a shareholder please second the motion?
Thank you. Pastor Lago Kisamsi Olusegun, I second that motion.
Thank you very much. May I now invite the registrars to take us through the voting exercise on the resolution, please.
On the resolution to renew the general mandate authorizing the company to enter recurrent transactions, I hereby call on the shareholders to cast their votes. Mr. Chairman, we have 100% in favor of the resolution.
Fantastic. I declare the resolution carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, the CEO. So with the permission of our great shareholders, I'd like for us to take the other resolution as one. If go. All right. Thank you. The next business of the day is to consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolutions. A, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to take all steps necessary to comply with the requirement of Section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Companies Regulations 2021 as it relates to unissued shares of the company, including the cancellation of 2,268,370 $1,733,000 unissued company shares of the company, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute agreements, deeds, notices, or any other documents and to perform all acts and to do all such other things necessary for or incidental to giving effect to the resolution 8A above, including without limitation appointing such professional parties, consultants, and advisors, and complying with the directives of the regulatory authority. The next will be the amendments of the Memorandum of Articles of Association. The next business of the day is to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions as special resolutions. A, that pursuant to Resolution 8 above, directors be and are hereby authorized to amend Clause 5 of the Memorandum of Association and Article 3 of the Articles of Association of the company as necessary. Be referenced only the issued shares in the share capital of the company. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute agreements, deeds, notices, or any other documents, and to perform all acts and to do all such other things necessary for or incidental to giving effect to Resolution 9A above, including without limitation appointing such professional parties, consultants, and advisors, and complying with the directives of the regulatory authority. I hereby propose that the resolution be approved. Will the shareholder please second the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion. My name is Patrick. You like to hold the mic. You like to hold the mic. See, don't I want to carry last too. So you have to know that. The chairman has already called me. So that's why. Yes. So you cannot overthrow the chairman.
Boniface, we have 4 resolutions we are voting on, so you will take the next one. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Patrick Ajudu. I rise to second the motion, please.
So, you know, we have 4 resolutions that we are voting on, and it will all be voted at once. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the resolution co-joined as read out by the chairman, I hereby call on the representative of the shareholders to cast their vote.
It's not as read out, but as agreed by the shareholders.
Okay, as agreed by the shareholders. Thank you, sir.
Point of correction.
All right, so that's the conjoined now. We read it out now. Okay, thank you. Is 100% in favor of the resolutions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, dear registered. I declare all the resolutions carried. Though a bit belated, I would like to recognize the presence of Mr. Okonkwo, the CEO of Veritas Registrar, present with us here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal business of our AGM, and I declare this meeting closed. I thank you all on behalf of the board for attending this meeting and showing so much interest in the affairs of our company. Thank you very much. Let's have the national anthem again.